glad this is an interfaith service, so you could all be sending all your different prayers for the YouTube to go to be a hit. So we've got it working. You know, technology is beautiful and challenging. So thank you for your patience. I am Trish Morris. I serve here as the spiritual leader at Unity Spiritual Center, Denver. So in the warm spirit of unity, I want to welcome you to this beautiful service this evening. We're happy to host it with Amy and the Light Movement. Unity is really an open and inclusive community where we honor all paths to the divine, regardless of how you call that or know that. And so we're happy to host. Our mission here, I should say, is that we inspire authentic connection with self, the divine, and others for healing and spiritual growth and loving service in the world. And I really feel like this event holds that up. There's not one of us that won't be touched by grief. And so to be able to come together and explore all the ways that that happens and to be able to support each other and learn together, it's really a beautiful event. So I'm happy to be hosting it with you all. And above all, Unity, as does the Light Movement, really honor all life as sacred, regardless of your faith following or not. We are all, in our belief system, connected through the one source of life. And so it's in that connection that we come together tonight. And I want to offer a brief land acknowledgement, just to acknowledge that the land on which we are doing our work here this evening is the traditional territory of the Ute, Cheyenne, and Arapaho peoples. We honor elders past, present, and future, and those who have stewarded this land thoughtfully throughout the generations. Tonight, it is fitting that we take a moment to recognize the tremendous grief endured by the indigenous people of this land, and in the shared humanity, the shared heart of humanity. As I mentioned, tonight's event is an interfaith event, intentionally holding space for the many paths to the divine, as well as creating space for those who may not align with any faith tradition. Our true purpose is that everyone feel welcomed and safe and comfortable. So we're also holding space for the innumerable ways that loss and grief occurs. There's no one experience. We obviously lose loved ones. We also lose relationships and identities and pets and faith and all of the things that human beings endure in terms of loss and grieving. So wherever you are on that journey, I think you'll find that you have space here and that you're welcome here. Intentionally held on the winter solstice every year, which is the darkest night of the year, which nature naturally invites us to come inward, to slow down and to cultivate our inner light, which can feel hard under the shadow of grief. And so again, to be in community and to know, as the ancient people have known for many thousands of years, that no matter how long the night, the sun always returns. So it's really a beautiful event to be holding on the winter solstice. So we'll just take a moment to allow yourself to become fully present as we begin our official program tonight. I'll ring our singing bowl that I do every Sunday, which is tuned to our heart chakra. So just invite you to let this sound bring you into this space, taking a breath, dropping into your heart. And just taking a moment together, holding the silence for the grief in this room and the grief around the world. And letting a deep breath return you to this time and space as I welcome up Amy.
Welcome, everybody. We know that it took a lot of courage to come here tonight to sit with our grief, our individual grief, and our collective grief. And so I want to honor that we know in all of our hearts that we are here to connect with each other and support one another this evening. So my name is Amy Pickett Williams, and I'm the founder of Light Movement, and I'm one of hundreds of volunteers for our nonprofit. We're a fully volunteer-run nonprofit, and we have 4 goals: to remind people that they're not alone in their grief, to teach the science of grief, and somatic, which are mind, body, spirit, soul tools, to support integration and finding meaning and purpose. While we know some religious traditions believe things happen for a reason, with Light Movement, we don't believe that. We support people that do, but we believe that when loss happens and trauma happens, we are able to work with it and integrate it. And like a tree that's struck by lightning, that scar will never shrink. But with care from others and connection and somatic, working with our body and our spirit tools, we will continue to grow. So if that tree was struck maybe at a young age, that scar may take up that whole tree. But with tender care and support, that tree will continue to grow, so it won't encompass our whole being. We also believe in connecting with other resources, and I'll name those this evening at the end. They are all just out those doors, and they are here to support you. What we believe in grief is we need as much support as possible. And so we've had this beautiful tradition. This is our 3rd year of inviting as many grief nonprofits as possible to come and table to support you all. So please feel free to go at the end. We have cookies, and we always have Hershey's Kisses and hugs and water. So please do join in on that after with us. If you're needing any restrooms, you can just go out the doors, and there's a couple restrooms just outside in the hall. And if you're needing one that is gender neutral, there's some upstairs as well. Everybody here is welcome. And our 4th goal is to stand in solidarity for all people and all types of grief and loss. We will have people reading those losses later and lighting candles. And so just know that whatever you're holding, and my sense is all of us have multiple losses we're experiencing. All of you and all of your experiences are welcome here. So I want to share a little bit about the science of grief, because we really believe that grief is held not just in our brain, but it's held in our entire bodies. And we as an organization chose to really focus on that somatic response, what we hold within our whole body, what we hold in our mind, what we hold in our heart and our lungs and our belly, what we hold within us with our own spirit, whether it's the divine within us, the divine around us, divine above us, or a combination of any of them. And the way we hold somatics is through movement and through song and through vibration. And we'll go through a few tools this evening before we move into that ritual. And in reality, our bodies were built to do these tools. The first tool we'll talk about is the contraction and expansion. We expand out into our vulnerabilities to say, this is my story. I need support. We contract back in when we say, I'm not quite ready yet. And part of the grief story is pendulating back and forth. Our hearts do this all the time. Expand, contract. Our lungs do this all the time. Expand and contract. When we walk, we can expand and contract our bodies. When we swim, my kids are swimmers, we expand and contract our bodies with breaststroke. If we're gardeners, we expand and contract as we're planting. If we're cooking and we're baking and we're artists, we're doing that all the time as well. I'm personally biased towards yoga as a yoga teacher, and some of the people here are tonight as well, but that's only one of many tools. So I invite you, we're also a trauma-informed nonprofit, so I invite you to participate in a few tools tonight, but it's your choice. It's always your choice. If you would like to, I just invite you to place your elbows parallel to your shoulders, fingertips raising to sky, and we'll inhale in and expand, pushing your shoulder blades together. And I know we're tight, some of us are very close to each other. And then we'll contract in, forearms together, palms together, head down. And feel free to just play with this at your own pace and own rhythm. You may not be able to do a full rhythm if you're right next to somebody, but you also have the invitation to just open and close your palms. Or even placing hands at heart center and noticing the expansion and contraction in your lungs. We also know that another beautiful tool is bilateral movement, utilizing both sides of our body. Again, we do that with walking, we do that with swimming, we do that with so many different tools we all utilize on a regular basis. And it's the intention behind it. It's the noticing what our bodies feel like as we're able to move both sides of our body, which also utilizes both sides of the brain. And some of us maybe have experienced some of that with work and therapy, like EMDR. We also know, though, that all these other tools can also help with that. And so that bilateral movement is another beautiful piece that we can use somatically. And our third beautiful somatic tool is vibration and stimulating the vagus nerve. So the science teaches us that this vagus nerve is the 10th cranial nerve. And it's a bidirectional highway, and it moves basically from our brainstem with all these extra nerves connecting through our face and our ears, and we'll do one little exercise together around that, and they go all the way down to the lowest part of our torso. And they connect to most all our organs in our body. It also is very connected to the mid part of our body with our endocrine system, and for those that believe in Eastern philosophy, the chakras, all midline. And so when we practice the longer exhale, the inhale through our nose and the sigh out, we're helping us get back into that balanced state. What Dr. Stephen Porges calls the ventral vagal state, what I like to call the window of peace. So much of the time when we're experiencing intense trauma and grief, our windows where we feel balanced in our peace are the size of a little mouse house. Maybe some of you can relate to that. I can. And what we know is if we start utilizing these tools, our windows will begin to expand so that when we ride the roller coaster of grief, maybe we won't get stuck outside of it in that fight-flight response or that response of, I can't get out of bed. I want to be in the closet. I can't do it anymore. And so these tools allow us not only when we're experiencing that intense grief to learn how to get back in it, but also preventively expand it. I like to think of it as that sliding glass door. And so these tools are with us every moment of every day. And the other big piece that is so important with grief work, and I know every nonprofit that's here tonight and every therapist that's in here tonight will say this, is connection, is connecting with others. It is the number one way to work with our grief. Maybe it's quietly with someone that you're close to. Maybe it's coming to an event where you look around the room and know every person here has been touched by grief and that you are not alone. There are so many resources out there for you. You are not alone. And so I invite you tonight, as we move through the rituals together with our amazing faith representatives, to know that you are connected. I believe with what is going on in this world, as do many of us here, with the violence, the divisiveness, the hate, the anger, underneath all of that, if we got to the bottom of all of it, it's grief. And so if we can learn to work with our grief individually and personally, and then connect with others and recognize that collective grief, I believe our world will improve. And I believe that our lights, we all have them, will support ourselves and support all humanity. So every year, I've given a little talk. The first year was like 45 minutes long. Last year was like 20 minutes long. And I believe I'm right about 5-10 minutes. So I'm pretty proud of myself. I geek out about all this stuff, so I love it. So I will leave you with that. Please know that with Light Movement, we offer many, many resources. Please come to our table. We have grief retreats. We have continuing education training. We have classes we offer every week we have yoga. We're going to be starting a sewing class. We have grief hikes. We have, we're partnering with Unity to do a monthly workshop. And so we have so many offerings for you all, as do all the other nonprofits that are here tonight. So please do reach out to them. And with that, I would like to welcome a couple of our faith representatives here tonight. I do want to say the reason we bring faith representatives in, and this is really important for Light, is that we know that faith representatives support people with grief. We also know the faith representatives that come every year support all people. So while they may be a rabbi, they may be a Unitarian, they may be a Christian, they may be many other ones, they are also here to support you. And know that you will get that support. So I welcome our awesome rabbi, come on up, and our awesome reverend. And they will be serving as a ritual, and then we'll be doing some candlelights with another reverend as well. And it is Rabbi Rick Brody and Reverend Dr. Matt Rick, and Reverend Ellen will be coming up in a little bit as well. Thank you.
When Great Trees Fall by Maya Angelou. When great trees fall, rocks on distant hills shudder. Lions hunker down in tall grasses, and even elephants lumber about safety. When great trees fall in forests, small things recoil into silence, their senses eroded beyond fear. When great souls die, the air around us becomes light, rare, sterile. We breathe, briefly. Our eyes, briefly, see with a hurtful clarity. Our memory, suddenly sharpened, examines, gnaws on kind words unsaid, promised walks never taken. Great souls die, and our reality, bound to them, takes leave of us. Our souls, dependent upon their nurture, now shrink, wizened. Our minds, formed and informed by their radiance, fall away. We are not so much maddened as reduced to the unutterable ignorance of dark, cold caves. And when great souls die, after a period, peace blooms, slowly and always irregularly. Spaces fill with a kind of soothing electric vibration. Our senses, restored, never to be the same, whisper to us, they existed. They existed. We can be and be better, for they existed. As we gather tonight, we pause, acutely aware that our lives, our communities, our world suffers from an emptiness, ruptures that cannot be mended completely because of the death of loved ones. And so we grieve and mourn for the individuals in our lives whom we have lost. As in Maya Angelou's poem, their deaths, whether sudden or even if expected, chilled some of us. Perhaps some of us are or were stuck on the, quote, kind words unsaid, promised walks never taken. Perhaps we recall a missed opportunity or wishes for deeper connection in a future that never came. Or, for the closest of our relationships, the loss of more time or of robust plans left incomplete. We acknowledge siblings who have mourned, parents who lost a child, spouses and partners bereft of their beloved, children who lost their parents, friendships severed by death. And we mourn for a world that saw some of its glimmer dimmed by the snuffing out of those who were our lights. And we marry our sadness with joy for the light they gave, for the creativity, kindness, humor, and love they brought to the world. We remember. We remember. We take this time, and I invite us to welcome in the details of those we loved. Whatever comes up, finding the ways they remain with us, the ways their imprint is in our thoughts, our deeds, our love, our way of life. And as we remember, we move from the maddening, lonely, cold, and dark cave of grief to a peaceful blooming that grows in its aftermath. As Angelou says, spaces fill with a kind of soothing electric vibration. May this evening's ceremony fill a little bit of the empty space, the space in our own lives and the emptiness in our hearts. May we find some of that soothing, to feel some of that electric vibration as we remember. Electric vibration is a fitting term. Later, we will light candles. Electric vibration. Light can symbolize the goodness and brightness each individual radiated, and be something of an antidote to some of the dimming that came with their deaths. May light also illuminate visual memories of them. Perhaps when we think of them, we can recall a face, a smile. So too, may we recall with our other senses, having that somatic engagement, the sounds of a loved one, a song we enjoyed together, a food we enjoyed together, the fragrance of spring we might have shared, the warmth of their hug. And beyond the senses, let's consider, how did they make us feel? And how did those feelings lead to action? Did they inspire us to be better in what we do and how we live? Memory infused with gratitude